Oh, yeah. What's up, y'all? We live. Coming at you live. How we feeling today, guys? Let's get the energy up. Let's see how we're looking here. Hope everyone had a great week. Who's training? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're looking good. Best set in the business. Just kidding. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Andy Kruger, dog trainer extraordinaire, here to answer all of your dog training questions. Voted Dog Trainer of the Year 3 years in a row by an elite board of specialists made up of my mom, dad, and grandma. So, what better proof do you need? We're getting it going. What's up, everyone? We'll wait for you guys to jump in on the chat here. Some good stuff on Patreon this week. Patreon.com/Andy Kruger. That's where I post everything. This week, advanced e-collar session with my dog. Put up on there that I think you guys will like. Basically, it's a touchpad exercise, advanced with the e-collar. Another video I did on Patreon, how do we get our Malinois puppies to stop biting us? The age-old question, finally answered. So we got those going on. What's up, Canada? Holla! What's up, what's up? Andy the GOAT! Top of the morning to ya. Thank you, JR. Thanks for being here. Hope everyone had a great week. Hit me in the comments, even if you don't have a particular question, let me know what you're currently working on with your dog. I'd be curious to know. How many people on here are competing in dog sports? Holler at your boy. What sport is it? What's up? What's up? Is the best way to train loose leash walking by sticking on a prong every time there's pressure? Do some pops? When dogs go with you, you reward? Got some preloaded questions for you. Thank you. Okay, let's get to my boy here, Axel Fuzz. Unique handle. Is the best way to train loose leash walking by sticking on a prong? Every time there's pressure, do some pops. When the dogs go with you, you reward. That's an interesting question because loose leash walking is different than a formal heel command. Am I right? So, of course I'm right. So yeah, you're not going to want to train it like you train a heel command. You're kind of right, but here's what I'd suggest to you. The best way to train loose leash walking, first acclimate your dog to a prong collar. Okay, so let's just pretend for the sake of the question, the dog's never been on a prong, but you want to teach loose leash walking. You're building a heel command separately, but you still want to be able to take your dog out and about and go on walks without them being crazy pulling on a leash while you're building your heel command. First, just acclimate them to a prong. So it sounds kind of funny, but if I'm looking to teach loose leash walking and the dog's never been on a prong, I place the prong on them and I go and I take them for a little walk. I let them pull. Let them figure out the collar a little bit, I'm not giving any feedback right off the bat. Not the first walk, not the second walk. I want the dog to experience what that pressure of the prong is going to be like. And they can start to put two and two together of, okay, if I really lunge like this, pressure gets more so. If I don't, it doesn't. And I'm perfectly fine with there being steady tension on that prong the whole walk, because I want to introduce the prong, I want to condition the prong before I actually want to teach the dog to yield to it. So I do that first, and then by my second or third walk with the average dog, then I can start giving a little bit of feedback on the prong collar. But take your time with this. And by take your time, I mean like take a week. Don't look to do it in 1 or 2 days, in 1 or 2 sessions, even if you can. Better safe than sorry. But make sure they're acclimated to it. Give your little pops, and then progressively, as each walk goes, depending on the dog, you can get a little bit more so with the prong. But that's probably the safest way to do it. Here's the other thing about loose leash walking. Hot take, I don't want to reward the dog with food, even with verbal. If the dog needs it, you can do it. If they just don't have a care in the world and they're walking and you pop and they're, oh, okay. I don't give any verbal. I want to save that for training. A loose leash walk isn't like a heel where it's stay in this position, pay attention to me, I'm going to pay you. The reward is that there's no feedback coming from the leash. They're walking freely, no tension on there. So not formal like an obedience command. So a little pressure from the prong, you're communicating with the prong. Prong's on, you need to change. Prong is off, you're good to go. Hope that helps a little bit. You know, I'd say for the most part, most people that aren't dog training enthusiasts, they think leash manners or loose leash walking is the same as heel. It's not their fault. They just haven't gotten into dog training, but you have a dog, so you should. But those things are radically different. If someone goes, hey, look, my dog's pretty good on leash, that's great. Doesn't mean they have a heel command. Just to throw that out there. Here's Ashley, one of the best trainers I know. Yo, love the advanced e-collar session, so fun. Also, Andy, Golden Retriever pup is officially going home with the e-collar. Wireless leash. Nice job. If you guys were here last week, you remember Ashley, fellow dog trainer and Patreon member, talking about a Golden Retriever board and train that she's doing. And I got to tell you what, guys, shout out to Ashley, because she does a better job with board and trains than any other trainer I know. I mean, she's putting her heart and soul into these damn dogs and their owners. Just so happens the owners are related to her, but it doesn't matter. She's really doing a great job. And what I think everyone needs to understand about board and trains, say you find a phenomenal trainer like Miss Ashley, you send your dog to Ashley, she's going to do a great job. The dog's going to be amazing. By the end of the board and train, the owners are 50% done. We're halfway there. I also moonlight as lead vocals in a Bon Jovi cover band. You guys should come see me. You're halfway there after a board and train. You find a great trainer, the dog's going to be great for that trainer when it's done. Okay? Most people think, send it to the trainer, dog comes home, They tell me a couple things, 100% done. You're halfway there. Dog has all the skills that the dog needs for the trainer, though. Doesn't mean it's just going to transfer over to anybody that says something to them. So you got to know that. And I'm sure Ashley is educating her clients on that. But whether you're a trainer, whether you're somebody thinking about sending the dog into a board and train, a good trainer is going to do great things with the dog, but you're only halfway there. Remember that. Jersey Tomato and Chrome in the house. What's up? Good morning. I have a Malinois and very much your insights and hints. No language barrier, but thank you. I'm glad it's helping. Did you watch the World Cup? USA won 4-1. I did not. I know. I did not. Not a huge sports guy these days, but I'll tell you what, growing up, sports was life. Baseball was king for me. Sports. But nowadays, I like going to baseball games with the fam, but other than that, I'm not huge on keeping up with sports. Sorry. No dog yet, but on the waiting list for a Beauceron. Doing my research, gonna crush this thing. That's the attitude you gotta have, JR. That's the perfect attitude. You know, confidence is so important when you're getting a new dog and you're planning on training that new dog. Don't be delusional. Don't be cocky. Don't be arrogant. But you have to have a certain presence about you that is backed by confidence. Puppies feel that. Dogs feel that. Cesar Millan energy. Your energy is off. What? Your energy, your presence. Even if the dog has you rattled a little bit, even if the puppy's throwing you curveballs and you're going, wait a minute, what the hell's happening here? You got to maintain that confident presence, just like any leader has to, because the puppy can smell it if you're not. Got to crush it. An owner goes, well, we'll see how this goes. Not a great sign. Three-year-old German Shepherd is afraid to go downstairs. How would you teach her? Dang it. 3? Dang it. Okay. I'm glad you included the age because that makes a massive difference in how we approach this question. 3-year-old German Shepherd afraid to go downstairs. I'm sure you've already tried treats and luring, and we make one step, and we give a jackpot, and we bring the dog away, we bring the dog back. That's great for a puppy, but for 3 years old, that ship has probably sailed. Negative reinforcement. It's the only way you can do this. Unless there is something really crazy going on with the dog, this should take a session or two, but you got to use negative reinforcement. A slip lead's good, a prong collar's good if the dog's acclimated to those tools. Does your dog understand leash pressure? If the answer is yes, that's the key. First thing you need to do is you need to find a 3-stair. Okay? Go out and about somewhere. Find a 3-stair. Leash pressure until the dog goes down it. If you have a set of 10 stairs, 12 stairs in the house, you can tackle it that way, but maybe you have a back deck with 5 stairs on it. Maybe the neighbor does. You got to start small, but here's what you got to teach the dog. This is like anything else. I'm going to come up to the stairs, okay? I'm going to start going down the stairs. You're going to put on the brakes. I'm going to apply some leash pressure. The key is the leash pressure does not shut off until the dog yields to it. And your dog needs to understand, I have to go down these stairs. I have to do it. And they come to that conclusion because that's what the leash is telling them. And hopefully what happens is the dog eventually concedes. They yield to the leash pressure. They go down a few stairs and they go, oh, you know what? That wasn't so bad. But you got to convince them with the leash. I actually see the same thing with dogs getting into the car all the time. So many of my clients, I still got to pick them up to get them in the car. And you guys are thinking, oh, that's so easy. No, really. The dog throws on the brakes and they got to pick them up. I say, I'm going to fix that in 2 minutes. Give me the leash. Biggest mistake people make is they apply pressure and the dog frantically resists the pressure and they go, oh, shoot, and they relieve the pressure. So it's backwards. The leash pressure does not get relieved until the dog yields to it. Might look messy at first. This might look like a total shit show. There's kids watching. You got to do it. You got to encourage the dog to go down. You got to spend 3, 4, 5 minutes there. Get the dog to go down. Get the dog to go up. Get the dog to go down. Okay, we're done. And then you come back to that later that day. You come back to it the next day. It should happen in a couple days, but it ain't happening without that leash pressure. It's no different than a dog refusing to go in a crate, refusing to go in a car, throwing on the brakes for any reason. At 3 years old, and the dog's had prior training, understands leash pressure, it's time to get your butt down the stairs. But again, it's ideal to start with a smaller size. You cut the dog a little bit of slack here. They're afraid. It's a great opportunity for you to coach your dog. Daddy, I'm scared. I don't want to go down the scary cliff. No, 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 no. You stay confident. You stay calm, cool, and collected. And you communicate to the dog via the leash. You have to go down the stairs. Trust me, you'll be fine. It's not that bad. Dogs got to trust you. So while when this session begins, it could look terrible because your dog's, and you're, I'm not relieving this pressure until you yield. It might look terrible at first, but those are the kind of sessions that if you do it right, it gets really good really quick. And your dog's going to go, oh, okay, that's not so bad. I trust you. I'll go down the stairs. Should be super easy to do. You got to respect the dog's fear. You can't just be like, you're going, yank, and you rip them down. This is easy to misconstrue. We respect the dog. We respect the fact that they have a fear of this and that they don't want to do it. You are going to make the dog do it, but you're going to make the dog do it in a very fair, calm way. Daddy, I don't want to go to school. I know. Get in the car, though. You're going to be cool, but also make the dog go down the stairs. That's the balance you got to strike. Hope it helps. I have a Malinois. She's so strong, so affectionate and energetic. My first Malinois. I should have gotten this earlier. Well, I'm glad you're liking your dog. They are strong, they are affectionate, and they are energetic. You got that right. JR says, I've seen a couple things, but don't have the total picture. Can you break down the practical application of training the foot target early in puppy stage? What's that build into? The foot target? Break down the practical applications of training the foot target. JR, what's the foot target? What are you talking about? I'll wait for you to answer. Probably talking about a touchpad, but I want to make sure. I'll come back to that. Bon Jovi! Jersey in the house, come visit. Maybe one day. Get some pizza. Hell yeah, Bon Jovi. Come on, son. Come on. I'm growing my hair out. Let's see. We got Jet 17. Healing's taking longer. Wait, is this the loose leash one? No, that was Axel. Healing's taking longer. My German Shepherd is 10 months and I'm getting inconsistent results and more excitement-based scenarios. Any tips to help advance this puppy? Use prong and working hard to consistently. Oh, working hard to consistency. Okay. Hey guys, you know what nobody tells you about German Shepherds? Is like, look, if you see a dog trainer get a German Shepherd, if you see an IGP dog, if you see, just put that aside. Think of the average person, like in your neighborhood, the average family that your kids go to school with, their kids, the average person getting a German Shepherd from an average breeder or not breeder somewhere, right? Kind of a pet German Shepherd. We train them all the time. No one tells you they're extremely difficult to train. Oh, yeah, they are. I can already hear the comments. Probably not from you guys, because you're right there with me. But I can already hear the comments. This guy has no idea. German Shepherds are the easiest dog to train. I've had Shepherds for 47 years and they've all been trained easily and beautifully. Okay, we got it. It is a very difficult breed for the average person to train. They are not user friendly most of the time. I'm going to tell you that right now. So that doesn't surprise me. The dog's 10 months old. The dog's on the prong. Inconsistent results in a distracting environment, pretty much. I would ask, are you using the prong for negative reinforcement or are you using the prong for positive punishment? Because if you have been using it for negative reinforcement, which I would guess, you need to apply positive punishment with the prong, I believe. I'm guessing, so be careful. But I would, not that you want to be heavy-handed with the prong, but if this is something you've really been working, I'd probably give the dog a little more business on the prong if they're just totally disengaging and totally losing it. I'd give a little more business on the prong. Now, I'm not sure if you're on the Patreon or not, but my 2-leash technique when healing with the dog, that should be golden for you. You have two 3-foot leashes, and you have two prong collars. Oh, two spike collar. You have two prongs. 2.25 Hermsprenger Special. High and tight. One leash in front of you, one leash behind you. Both leashes held in your right hand. Left hand is free to sway in the wind, maybe to pet, maybe to feed. But your body is going to do a lot of the work there. Your movements are going to offer the negative reinforcement to the dog automatically. And then if you need to come in and apply positive punishment, that left hand is there to grab a leash and give the dog a pop. And then you go back to walking. But I'd say that your prong needs to go to the next level. Not just hammer on the dog and bang on the dog, but I think you need to go to the next level with the prong. Let me see if JR responded here. Is it positional work only? Foot target. I think you just mean a touchpad. You mean the tub or the thing where the dog comes and puts their front feet on? Let's say that's what you're talking about. Oh, the bowl. Okay. We got JR's question. Where the heck did it go? We lost you. Okay. Can you break down the practical application of training the touch command early in the puppy stage? What does that build into? Some trainers will tell you that you can use the touchpad to teach the dog rear end awareness. So a flip turn into heel would be a classic example of that. But if you want a well-trained dog that really has a real heel command, they have to have rear end awareness. So if you're walking with your dog's in perfect position, walking right next to you, you come to a stop and you turn 180 degrees to your left in place, your dog should follow you. Their front feet won't move, but their rear end will circle back. That's a dog with rear end awareness. A dog with no rear end awareness just stands there and looks at you and goes, "What the hell are you doing?" So some trainers would say, hey, rear end awareness. You can definitely teach rear end awareness without it. Any practical application? Not really. Not really. It's more for performance-based obedience. Here's why I train a touchpad. I train it for my agility exercises. I want to teach my dog to go over a jump and then go to their target and rest on it. That's what I use the touchpad for, because then I can send them back over the jump and their strides are spaced out perfectly to where they can go and they don't just jump over the jump and go, hey, what now? So I use it for that. You can use it for a send away command. There's a lot of things in dog sport you can use it for, but at the very least, it's just another skill you can teach your dog. When you get your dog, I promise you, after a couple weeks, after a couple months, you're gonna get bored with heel, sit down, stay. And so is your dog. I see this all the time. They go, I've done 500 reps of sit. We're all sick of it. So you kind of need new things to put into the repertoire. You know, if you just sat there and watched the same thing over and over again on Netflix, you get bored of it. We need a new show. Dog's the same way. So it's just another thing to teach the dog. And can it come in handy sometimes? Yeah, it can, but it's mostly for performance-based obedience, not really like practical day-to-day pet manner stuff. I hope that helps. Good morning, Andy. Good morning. Last week, you spoke about what genetically makes us want a particular breed. I think it was referring to a German Shepherd. Why do you feel the Malinois is genetically preferred? Um, okay. I think I remember this. That one question that I like to ask people is like, what is it that you like about your dog genetically that not just any dog could offer you? You know what I mean? Genetically. So a lot of times the average person goes, "Oh, well, my dog is like really friendly. They're really cute." And they kind of describe these qualities of the dog that could really be any dog. But like, what about this one separates it? Why'd you buy this one? And maybe it's just, dude, I don't know, I bought a dog. That's fine too, but let's find some reasons we like the dog. So why is the Malinois genetically preferred to a German Shepherd? It just depends on the person. There's a lot of people out there that genetically prefer a German Shepherd. I'm easy though. I'm really easy. I'm a French ring guy. Okay, that's the dog sport that I love. That's the dog sport I've competed in for the last 13 years as both a decoy and a handler, both at the highest level, by the way. Does that sound arrogant or what? I'm a French ring guy, so it's easy. Malinois are made for French ring. German Shepherds, not so much. Can you find a German Shepherd here or there that can compete at the highest level of French ring? Yes, you can. Is that normal? Hell no, that's not normal. That is an exception and it's an outlier. For me, German Shepherd don't have what it takes to do a French Ring 3 program. Some of them are out there, but usually no. That's why I like the Malinois. They have what it takes. They're custom made for that program. Look, I'll tell you one thing. Here's a good example. Not so much about French ring, but about the genetic thing. You go, well, Andy, what genetically do you like about Freddie that not just any Malinois could offer you? There's a number of things, but let's take his toy drive. Okay. My dog Fred, he's right over there snoozing. He's got good toy drive. We could be anywhere, anytime. If I bring his toy out, he's going to lock in and he going to be down to play and he's going to give it his all, right? And I like that about him. You say, Andy, couldn't that be any dog? Yes. What I like though about his toy drive is if I tell him we're done, leave it, he's cool with it. He's not obsessive about that toy. We're spitting. He's not, if we're playing, and I go, okay, we're done, and I toss the toy to the side and I go, okay, let's just go for a walk now. He will leave it alone. It's a little bit of training, but he has good toy drive, but he doesn't have insane toy drive. I've had and trained so many dogs that they can't leave. That thing has to be put away. They cannot leave that thing alone. I don't like that much toy drive. Believe it or not, I like a good amount. I don't want a crazy amount. My last Malinois Jasper, he wouldn't really like that. Like, that toy is out. Dude, put that thing away because I just can't concentrate. So I like that he can kind of switch. Again, it's a little bit of training, but it's mostly genetic. He can lock in, but then he can clock out without a problem. So he's a little bit more balanced. He doesn't have this obsessive tendency about a toy. And I really need that for French ring because when I'm training him, I really need him to be able to bang, get the toy, but then just leave the toy and pass it by in the next exercise. That's one thing I like about him that not just any Malinois could offer me. You know, I also like that about him because I said it's a little training. It wasn't that much training. I didn't spend months and months like getting him to be neutral to the toy. He can just he's level-headed that way. Jasper out on the trial field, very intense, but especially when we got to bite work, not exactly the picture of a level-headed dog. And that's his genetics. Training always has stuff to do with it, right? We'd change a million things, but that's kind of his genetics. When he's in drive, okay, he was born that way. Fred, he's but he's more of a thinker. He has a little more composure when he's in drive, and I like that better. Just an example. My buddy just brought a Doberman pup home. I asked how crate training is going, and he said, oof, but I figured out the trick. Fall asleep on my chest, then I put her in the crate. He received a backhand. Here's the problem. Now, does that, Ben? No, that's not Ben. Sorry, that's JR. Ben's the next question. Does that make you crawl out of your skin? Because it makes me crawl out of my skin. I'm over there right now. I want to tell you what I hear, and especially with a female Doberman. Oh my God, not a female Doberman, please no. Please not a female Doberman, don't do this. How's the crate training going? I figured out the trick. She falls asleep on my chest and then I put her in the crate. You know what I hear? How's the crate training going? I have immediately developed a foundation for extreme separation anxiety to thrive. That's what you've done there. That's what you've done there. If you want something falling asleep on your chest, get a girlfriend or have a baby. Because a dog and a puppy, we're on track to have extreme separation anxiety. And JR, I say all the time, not even related to this directly, I say it takes one time. Seriously? It takes one time. It doesn't take weeks and months of repetition. If I pick out a new Malinois puppy that's in another state and I say maybe another country, that's my puppy, I'm getting that puppy. They ship it to me. Hypothetical, hey Andy, this person's gonna pick up your dog for you and then the next day they're gonna drive it out to your house. Okay, great. Well, the day they picked the puppy up, they went home and they had the puppy falling asleep on their chest. Don't want it anymore. Oh, Andy, are you serious, dude? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I don't want it anymore. Because you're turning it into a baby. Guys, I'm from the working dog world here, okay? We do our best with the pets. But in the working dog world, that kind of coddling, the dog instantly becomes a huge baby. Most of the time, okay? Always exceptions. I would never do that. It's also a working breed. Like, if you want to do all that stuff, I have no problem with it. It's great. There's a time and a place, and there's a right kind of dog to do it with. Female Doberman, woo! If they called me for a board and train, I'd say, I'm really busy. Okay, anyways. How many hours do competition dogs usually spend in their kennel? I read that some are being kenneled 20 hours a day. Even with quality training sessions, it seems like a poor life. What's your opinion? Yeah, that's not great. Not a great life for the dog, you know. To each their own. How many hours do competition dogs usually spend in their kennels? I have no idea. I mean, it's just totally up to the person. I mean, I would need more specific information. Look, is that ideal? No, that's not ideal. Look, is the dog going to be fine? Yeah, the dog's going to be fine, but that's not, yeah, you're right. It's not like a great quality of life. It's not like a very well-rounded life, but I'll say this, that's not like kennel training is always necessary, but the 20-hour thing, like that's not necessary to have a good competition dog. You don't want a stupid house pet who's a spoiled brat baby. That's going to make a crap competition dog. Competition dog needs to be independent, at the same time relying on you. They need to be very confident and they need to be a man or a woman, not a little baby. So you don't want to do little pet stuff with them, but I definitely have my dogs out more than that. Look, to defend it a little bit though, there are some cranked up working dogs that we can't have nice things. It's like, hey, I'm going to spend some time doing this. And they go, oh, I remember why I don't do that. You know what? Let me put a nice bed in your kennel. Okay. Let me give you some time in the yard. Okay. Well, some dogs don't do themselves any favors, but there's not a set number of hours. Every dog is different, but you always got to strike a balance with the dog, and that seems a little unbalanced. But I'm the last person that's going to like shy away from crate time. Oh, it's a lot of time in the crate. Look, it's a dog. Dogs have to be crated, but if there are some days where your dog is kenneled 20 hours a day, it's not an ideal day, but can happen. Life gets busy, but if that's the norm, the dog's entire life, you probably have too many dogs. If that's your only dog, it's like, what the hell are you doing the rest of the time? It's usually people that have kennels full of dogs. It's just impossible to have them all out all the time. We got some good ones here. Your boy might need a bathroom break. Chill, number one, for the love of God. Here's Ashley. How do you feel about scattering kibble on the ground as you walk away to help puppy to learn to chill in her own space? Like a puppy run. Okay. I know what Ashley's talking about here. And yeah, you can do that. Let me specify. Puppy. So you have a puppy, maybe it's the golden, but you have a puppy and you go, you need to learn to be on your own a little bit. We're going to have a little kennel set up for you, right? Is that what we're doing? A puppy run. Yeah. So you have a run. What is that? 5 by 10, something like that. You have a run. Put the puppy in the run. You start to walk away. Puppy gets anxious. Puppy's whining, barking, jumping on the kennel. Where are you going? I love you. Don't leave me. Okay, so you could cold turkey their ass and just make them deal with it. But what Ashley's saying is you put the puppy in their new run, scatter some kibble on the ground, and then walk away so that you walking away isn't even a thing to the puppy. They just go, oh, you're walking away? Kibble's coming. Yeah, I love when you walk away. And they're busy going and picking out all those little pieces of kibble. You're gone. So yeah, you can definitely do that. That would definitely help that initial process of cutting the cord. I mean, look, I have no problem with giving the dog a bully stick in there. Why not? It's a puppy. Be disciplined now. Come on. Puppies are insecure. They're puppies. You guys know what I mean. Yeah, put them in their run, give them a bully stick, give them some kibble, give them something to help them out a little bit. I'm down with that. 2 years later, my Bailey is the most loyal and obedient dog I've ever owned. All thanks to your videos. Thank you, brother. That is awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing that. That's what I'm talking about. Should a punishment always follow your no marker? When you're teaching the word no, yes. When you are teaching the word no, yes, it should always be followed by a physical correction. When you're teaching it, if your dog knows the word no, respects it, and responds to it, a physical correction doesn't always need to follow it. That's why we condition it that way. So if my dog starts being annoying in his kennel over there and I go, no, and I'm sitting here, he don't have no e-collars on, I'm not getting up. He goes, oh, my bad. That's why we do all that work with the conditioning of the physical correction. So then we're free to use no without having to actually correct the dog. Your dog's outside, no. Oh, okay, that was easy. I'm glad I conditioned the word no. Now, if you do that a million times in a row, no is going to lose its power. So there's always a maintenance that comes with that, but there's the answer there, and I'll flip that around and give you another thing here. Should a punishment always follow your no marker? Think about this. The word no doesn't always have to come before a correction. Again, teaching the word no is its own thing, but can you be out on a walk? Can your dog be on place? Can your dog be in a command, make a mistake, you correct them without ever saying anything? Hell yeah, you can. Should you do that sometimes? Absolutely, you should do that sometimes. You don't have to hear the word no to be corrected by the way dog, right? Working with, pet dog owners a lot for a long time. You know what I hear all the time? Goes, hey, but I'm such a jerk. They go, hey man, my dog does this, that, and the other. And I totally don't want the dog to do that. What should I do? And I go, well, I would tell the dog no. They go, oh, we do that? Dog doesn't give a crap. Okay. I would teach the dog the word no. People think teaching the word no is like we say it a lot, we scold the dog, and we got it. No. Teaching the word no is the same as teaching a reward marker. We want to teach the dog what yes means. We want to teach the dog what good means. We want to teach the dog what no means. This is in an obedience context, not when they're just running around the house chasing the kids. You have to actually teach a dog what the word no is. Crazy, right? Thanks, Andy. I never thought about the shorter set of stairs. She does 2 steps like nothing all the time and brave on everything else. This surprised me. Yeah, this is the German Shepherd that won't walk downstairs. 5 minutes, that's a done deal. If I'm there, 5 minutes, it's a done deal. And I've seen this pretty extreme before. A lab pops into my head from 8 years ago, probably. Never seen a dog worse on the stairs. after he was trained, boom, we use that equipment, that communication. Owners couldn't believe it. Easiest thing ever. So I think you'll be good. With an adult dog, can I start with negative reinforcement plus positive reinforcement, or should you always start with positive only? Great question. Teaching a sit stay with a dog who is okay at sit already. You want to get negative reinforcement into your training frickin' ASAP. For sure. You can absolutely start with both if the dog can take it. Some dogs are a little special needs. Hey, build it up with positive only first before you bring in the leash, because the leash kind of weirds the dog out, right? Obviously. But if you're applying pressure and they're just like, boom, I'm in this, dude. Pressure, no problem. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, right off the bat, like slip lead, flat collar, but right off the bat for sure. And if you have some experience dealing with dogs, do it up. If there's like a brand new dog owner in front of me that doesn't even know how to hold a leash, I'll say, let's master the positive reinforcement first, and then we'll bring in the negative, and then eventually we'll combine them. Okay? A brand new person. But if you've got some experience, yeah, hit it up. You're welcome, JR. Like the touchpad, outside of like some specific dog sport exercises or like some specific pivoting techniques on the dog's rear end, like you could never train a dog on a touchpad and just be totally fine. But again, it's just another thing. It's a new movie your dog can see. It's something interesting you can present to the dog that keeps their interest. I see dogs getting bored with their owners all the time. They go, hey, they're not very engaged. I go, you're boring as hell. I can barely pay attention to you. No. So it's another thing you can do. And like I said, on my Patreon this week, patreon.com/Andy Kruger, advanced e-collar session using my touchpad. It was just an awesome session. Granted, it was hot as crap out, but after 7.5 minutes of this touchpad exercise using my e-collar, Freddie was gassed. And he ain't gonna get that way just doing some heel sit down stay. So it's a good tool, but it's more for like a dog training enthusiast than someone that just wants to get their dog under control. My rescue Mal comes to me with his head down, and he has an apprehensive look about him. Damn, how long you had him? How did I get that fear out of him? Make him run back to me with joy and enthusiasm. Positive only for a while? That's all it is. This isn't like, this is like a demeanor. This is a mindset. This isn't an obedience behavior. So like positive only for a while, like, dude, have some fun with the dog. You know, I would need to know a lot more about this, but your dog's coming at you like that for a reason. Change his mind. Hey, dude, running over to me is going to be the best part of your day. Your dog goes, I find that hard to believe. Now you got to convince him you're right. Now he's got to go, damn, actually, that was kind of sweet. You need something stupid high value. Go to the grocery store, get a $5 steak. Seriously, chop it up. Tell your dog, come here, buddy. Boom, give him a piece of steak and then make a little woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Where's my good boy? Let him jump up on you. Let him kiss your face. Take out a little piece of steak. Who's my buddy? Who's my buddy? Run away. Come here. He runs over. Filet. Probably a strip, but you get it. Yeah, you got to be positive only. Oof, that's an understatement. Get the steak. What do you think about the difference? Oh, all right, Nick. Bad question for me, but I'll try to answer. What do you think about the different nose positions in tracking? Competition versus police, real world, man trailing. Is nose always on the ground versus where the dog is naturally? Well, it's a great question. I got to be honest with you. That's not my lane. That's not my specialty. I do not have an extensive background and experience in tracking in either discipline. You know, the best I can do is I dabbled in IGP a little bit back in the day with one of my first dogs. Did a little bit of tracking with that dog, but I don't really want to come in front of the internet and proclaim to be the expert on that. Sorry, someone give me a smoke. Give me a smoke. So, I don't know about that one. Yeah, look, in competition, the sport is looking for a very specific picture. Okay? For a police dog out in the real world, there are some basic standards, but if they can find the guy, who gives a flying rat's ass if their nose is here or here or here or here? Did he find the guy? 10 out of 10. Killed it. Did his job. Perfect. Different genetics are going to determine different tracking styles. You can always influence it with the training, but does it get the job done? That's like a police dog. It's like, does it get the job done? Yes, it does. Within the rules? Yes, it does. Well, then that's a win. They can have their own little style. There isn't a judge there going, oh, he got distracted by that in the middle of his track, -10. But he found the bad guy and saved lives. He lifted his nose 2 inches, a minute and a half in. I'm sorry, I can't really offer a great answer, but there's something. Do you handle the dog yourself to break ground in short sessions or coach the owner on the leash? If I'm training a client, I'm always working with the dog myself, achieving what I want to achieve, whether it's a sit, a down, a climb, and then I pass over to the owner and I go, now you do the same thing. And then I coach them with the leash, but I always make sure first I can get the dog doing it, so then it'll be easier for them. Maybe that's your question. But yes, I do handle the dog myself to break ground in short sessions. And then I coach the owner once the dog kind of has the flow going on. If the dog is wildly aggressive towards people, I ain't touching it. And they're going to have to handle the dog. And we're going to make slower progress, but I'm going to have to do everything through them. It's kind of tough to do. But if I can handle the dog, yeah, I'm grabbing that thing, making a ton of progress, and then letting them come jump in once the dog's rolling. Don't humanize the Doberman. Too late. All right, Axel hit me with the super chat. Thank you very much. I use your Patreon, but this is a thank you for the amazing content you do. Proper dog training, no fancy clickbait crap. Boots on the ground shit, Tom. Hey, we know your name now. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. What kind of training do you specialize in? Thank you. Good question. I'll tell you what I specialize in. But first, I want to say, okay, we'll start with what I specialize in. Belgian Malinois doing French ring. Look, if we're being honest, if Andy Kruger has one specialty, it's French ring with Belgian Malinois. Look, if you have another breed, a Dutch Shepherd, yes, for French ring, that's my specialty. Decoy work and French ring. Puppy bite work, teenager bite work, professional athlete bite work, highest level of competition in the world, decoy what? That's my specialty. You have a Malinois who's good to go. You came to the right place. That is really what my specialty is. But don't get it twisted. Pet dog training, I like to think I'm pretty good at that too. I wouldn't say that that's my specialty because every trainer does pet dog training, but not every trainer has the experience in the dog sport. So Malinois doing French ring, bite work, probably one of my specialties. Safe to say. But with that being said, with that being my specialty, this will tell you how terrible of a businessman I am. That basically gets you no money. If you want to train sport dogs, you're basically spending money. Okay, it's a good way to lose money. Should I do dog sports? Do you like losing money? Yeah, I love it. Do it. It's not like I have French ring clients coming all over the place and Malinois I'm getting pit. You know what I mean? Just training the average person's dog. That's what keeps the lights on. Dog sports is more of a passion project, but that's certainly my specialty. Hey, Andy, when will we start looking at other trainers' videos? I'm glad you asked because I got my streaming setup going. The other day, I did like an hour stream watching a Cesar Millan video, and it wasn't even that bad. And then, like halfway through, YouTube gadooshed me. And they deleted the video and they gave me a warning because I couldn't. I appealed it. They sided with me. Okay, our bet. But now I'm like, I'm going to keep trying and we are going to get to it. But ran into a little bit of a snag with that one. All right, we got a bunch more questions. Give me 30 seconds. Your boy got to go to the bathroom real quick. Give me 30 seconds. The bathroom's right there. Everyone chill. Don't go nowhere. And we're back. Don't worry, the team will edit all that out. You guys will never even see that. Okay. The next Q&A, I'll have my catheter. All right, let's see what we got here. What practical cues would you use to differentiate between a dog that appears calm at home but is actually subdued and a dog that has truly off switched? I'd have to think about that. A dog that appears calm versus a dog that is actually switched off. What practical cues would you use to differentiate? I don't know. I guess I've never really thought about it that way. I just kind of look at the dog and go, okay, they seem kind of shut down, or oh man, they're kind of chilling. I don't know. That's a great, thanks, and what a great Q&A. I go, you guys ask the questions and I answer them. You're like, hey, Andy, what about this? I go, I don't know. That's awesome. Well, I mean, this is free, so. I assume you're talking about your own dog here. Here's what I'll say about that. If a dog is learning an off switch, at first they can appear like they're subdued. They're a little bit like, okay, I'm off, but I'm off. I am off. Because it's like a new concept to them, like, hey, you can't move around right now, zip it. And they're like, okay, am I doing this right? But with a little bit of experience, the dog understands the assignment and they go, okay, we're right here chilling. So if I'm teaching a dog an off switch, I'm not going to be freaked out if they look a little bit like, at first because they don't know anything. That's kind of normal. We'll take that in stride. They'll snap out of that soon. But every set of genetics reacts differently to different scenarios. And you know what? Sometimes genetically, a dog in certain situations just ain't going to look great. Look, I don't know if that helps at all. It's a good question, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If anyone knows, hit the chat. Thanks, Patrick. Hey, Andy, good morning. In your training videos, it looks like you use mostly a tug on your sport mals. What are your thoughts on a ball on a rope? What about magnetic balls to target and focused healing? That's funny you say. I guess in my older videos, I used a tug a lot, but for my dog Jasper, I used a tug, but for my dog Freddie, I use a ball on a rope. I use a ball on a rope nowadays way more than a tug. I just like it better for the dog, specifically this dog. But I definitely like both. I just hate the way Freddie bites a tug. Sorry, dude. I hate the way he tugs. It's terrible. You guys are like, wait a minute, Andy. I thought if you guys watched me play tug with him, you'd be like, oh, yeah, looks good. What are you talking about? It's not some, whoa, but I just like the ball better with him. I don't like the way he bites the tug. It annoys me. What do I think about magnetic balls? So you can put it on your shoulder, can put it in the middle of your back. Love it. Do it. I don't do it personally, but that's not because I don't think it's cool. It's not, I mean, there's videos of me doing it in the past, probably. I've messed around with it, but I don't really need it for my dog. But oh, yeah, the magnet ball, for sure. That's definitely useful. Why is engagement training important? Well, we want the dog to focus on you, right? Dog looks, yes, feed. Does it set the foundation for obedience training and build your markers? I thought you said before Jasper is miles better than Fred. Jasper looks super intense while Freddie has a goof in him. Freddie don't have a goof in him on the trial field, I'll tell you that. No. Depends what day you ask me which one I like better, probably. I'll circle back to that, but why is engagement training important? Like, that's just a fancy word for your dog knows how to pay attention to you. That's a fancy word for your dog finds you really interesting. Why is engagement training important? Because your dog needs to find you interesting in order to properly learn. Properly. You can make a dog do a lot of things with training equipment that they don't want to do. But if you want your dog to work, they have to be interested in you to receive your information. If they're not interested in you, how are you going to teach them anything? That's why engagement's important. And it's more than dog looks at you, yes, food. That's like, you'll get rewarded for looking at me. That's not engagement. Like, that's just rewarding eye contact. Here's what engagement really is. Like, I'm a trainer. Here's my dog. I want to be the most interesting thing to my dog. I want my dog to look at me with wonder and hope. I want the interactions I have with my dog to be the best part of their day. Okay? I want to be the shit to my dog. That's what engagement is. You walk in the room and your dog goes, "You're the shit." That's engagement right there. It's not just like, "Hey, Andy, my dog doesn't give a crap about me. Should I use a higher value reward?" Yeah, of course, that's going to captivate them more than a piece of kibble, but it's like your dog's bored as hell with you. You know how many people I've trained, and not clients, okay? Because I'm not going to make fun of clients, but I will make fun of other dog trainers. You know how many people I've worked with, and they have a young Malinois, and that dog is good to freaking go, man. They got all the drive, they got everything in the world ready to be taken. And they find their owner boring as all get out. I've seen it more times than I want to. And on paper, they're doing everything right. And I go, look, your dog just doesn't find you interesting. Okay? She's just not that into you. Oh, shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Bon Jovi. Just kidding. I don't do lead vocals for a Bon Jovi cover band, okay? I'm obviously lead guitar. So engagement is more than that, okay? Interesting to the dog. Hope that helps. But no, I probably said Jasper's miles better than Fred, but there was probably a specific context for that. Fred's a far superior competition dog, and he's way more of a well-rounded dog. Yeah, he's pretty goofy sometimes, but make no mistake about it. When we get out on that field to train French ring, if you're in a bite suit, you ain't gonna think he's so goofy. Not that this matters at all, but like his last competition, he did pretty good. Wasn't the most outstanding, amazing thing I could ever dream for, but he did pretty good. The decoy had a hole in his leg, literally. Through the bite suit? Yeah. Through layers and layers of padding, the decoy had a literal hole in his thigh, bleeding. That's Fred biting him through the suit. Let's go. Let's go. He ain't goofing around out there. How do you not be boring for your dog? Great question, Mary. Because a lot of the times, you're working with someone, you go, hey, be more exciting. It doesn't mean act like a clown. Like the novice goes, good, yeah, good. It goes, hey, be more exciting. And then they go, wow, yeah, and they're moving a lot, and they're using their voice a lot, and they're, yeah. And the dog's kind of like, oh my God, what are you on? And I go, hey, I said be more exciting. I didn't say act like a jackass. How do you not be boring to your dog? Let's take you out of it for a minute. You got to think about the dog's lifestyle and the environments that the dog is in. I'm not saying just deprive them of everything and you're their only whatever, but lifestyle has a big part to do with this. If say you just have like a puppy, a young dog, and you're just getting started with their training, if they're loose all the time, if they're free all the time, if they're entertaining themselves all the time, if they're out and about doing this, playing with this dog, doing all over the place, it's like, how do you compete with that? Your dog's playing with your other dog all the time, taking them to the dog park. Like, how do you compete with that? Like, your dog's not going to find you that interesting. It's like the lifestyle your dog has, the situations you put them in, how you navigate them through those. Do you interact with them? Do you don't? That's all part of the sauce, if that makes any sense. But there's not one, like, clap your hands 3 times and blow your nose. Like, there's not something like that I can tell you. To not be boring to the dog. But you have a relationship with your dog, right? Okay. So like treat it like any other relationship, maybe. Not that we're treating the dog like a person. Don't be weird. But it's a relationship, right? So you're out there and there's a guy, there's a gal that you're interested in. My dating podcast is dropping soon. But there's a guy, and it's like kind of a dance you do there, right? It's like you don't want to go too much too soon and scare them away, but you also don't want to be too reserved and think like, hey, they're not interested in me at all. I know it sounds funny, guys, but it's relationship dynamics, okay? Kind of courting your dog. But you're like, usually with a dog, it's like, ooh, you got me. I'm here for you, dog. Wee, whatever you need, I'm right here. What do you want now? And the dog's like, okay, I got it. It's just too much. They kind of get bored of you a little bit, So not being boring isn't about like, Sometimes less is more. Sometimes the chase is better than the catch. Sometimes we need to pull back a little bit. Sometimes we need a little bit more, but that doesn't answer the question at all. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But I see it all the time. Dogs get bored of their owners. How do you not be boring to the dog? Let me actually try to answer the question now and not go on a weird dating tangent. I'm going to answer the question now. How do you not be boring to your dog? First of all, don't do a million repetitions of the same thing all the time. That's the easiest way for your dog to want to blow their brains out. Oh my God, we're going to do 50 sits over the next 15 minutes. Okay. Yes, food. Yes, food. Okay, we're going to do the yes thing now for a while. All right. Okay. People over-rep, they overtrain, they saturate the market. So to not be boring to your dog, don't beat commands into the ground. Don't beat repetitions into the ground. If your dog does something 5, 10 times in a row, awesome, move on. They did it. We don't need 25 to 50. Certain context here. Sometimes you do, but to not be boring, okay? This isn't a dog learning new skills. This is you not being boring. Brings us back to the touchpad thing. Your dog's gonna get bored of heel, sit down, stay soon. Should I trick train him? If that's what you want to call it, but you need to be constantly evolving with your approach, with your training. Each training session should be 1% harder than the last one, 5%, 10% harder than the last one, 5% more interesting than the last one. Hey, we're going to add a new wrinkle into this training session you've never seen before. Hey, you think we're about to go do this, that, and the other, but actually we're going to go do this. That's what makes you interesting to the dog. Being unpredictable, being valuable, not saturating the market with your, so here I am, dog, again. Dog, here I am. Whoa. Whoa. Hope that helps. I don't know how it would, but I hope it helps. Kelly writes, I've been marking her focused heel by spinning her to the right for the reward toy. To the left, to the right. What do you do when the dog starts offering the spin out of heel? In a trial, she starts spinning down the field. LOL. Okay. Well, look, Kelly, when it comes to teaching spin, mission accomplished. I mean, your dog has that in spades. It's biting you in the ass now, though. Hey, mission accomplished. Kelly, no more spin. Kelly, we're cut off from spinning. That's why God made leashes. You're going to block that ass if she tries to spin. No more spinning. Always reward in place for 3 months. If she spins, block her and go, no, no, heel, stop the spinning. But mommy, you created this monster. I know, but just stop it anyway. So mission accomplished on the spin. Stop doing it though. When you do 3 months and the dog, like, we want her to lose spin, basically, because we're heel. We're here. We're heel, right? We always want to be here. That looks wrong. We're here. Okay? So now you have to overcompensate. No spin for you. Spin bad. But mommy, you said, yeah, I changed my mind. Reward in place, no spinning anymore. Because, what is it, a Malinois? Because they're stupid Malinois. And the, yeah, very cool. No spin. Touchpad was a great addition to my rapid fire sessions. Adding it into my small yard sessions, currently working. Exactly. That's exactly right. 2-year-old Malinois, and the off is proving harder than I thought. Tips. Yeah, I do. Off switch. I hate to tell you, some Malinois ain't going to have one. Remember I said, what do you like about your dog genetically that not any other dog could offer you? One thing you could say is, man, he's got a great off switch. Because not every dog's going to have that. Sometimes it ain't happening. Yeti, let me give you an example. And every time I read your name, I think of the cooler. Because those are the coolers I have. I was actually just thinking about this the other day for whatever reason. Your climb command, or as some people call it, place. Sorry. Basketball. No, it's not like horse. Sorry. Good movie. Your climb command. We want the off switch, right? Here's how you want to train the climb command. Have one session, and this is an example. You'll be able to see that. You're loaded with food, dog's on a leash, dog's ready to rock and roll. You train that dog to book it onto that bed, bam, he gets paid. Free. Boom, he comes off the bed, bam, he gets paid. Climb, boom, good. Less than 5 seconds, free. Boom, climb, good. So on one hand, you're teaching action commands. Get to that bed, mission accomplished. Get off that bed, mission accomplished. And after a few sessions, you go, we're good, we're there. We got the boom and we got the boom. Now, on the other hand, totally separate from those sessions, you're going to do your duration. Here's what duration looks like. I have no food. There are no reward markers. This is not interactive. This is not action-packed. I sit in this chair right here. I put my climb bed right here. I guide my dog onto it with the leash, sit down and hold the leash and don't make eye contact and don't talk to him. And every time he tries to get off the bed, I block him with the leash. Let the leash do the talking. Okay, if you want to go, no, It's not the end of the world, but and you go, it's going to be 20 minutes. No, this isn't free. No, this is off switch time. With a lot of Malinois, if you're training, this is just the example, climb, and it's go to it, come off of it, go, okay, stay longer, stay. They're on that thing like, how long do I have to stay before I get the thing? So you separate though. So when it comes to doing an off switch, you need to have a session where there is no food, there is no rewards, there's no eye contact, there's no petting, there's no connection with the handler. For a wound up Malinois, that's what you need. That's not the case for every dog ever, but you need to be like, oh no, this is like literally going to be the most boring thing you've ever done in your life. Is it more boring than the crate, Daddy? Okay, crate's probably more boring. This is the second most boring thing you're going to do. If your Malinois can shut off in their crate, they can shut off on a climb. If they're not shutting off on the climb, it's because you're giving them feedback, you're giving them hope for an interaction to happen. My thoughts exactly on the tracking. All right. That's my first tracking question. It would have been so awesome to have Freddie or Jasper take over the stream during intermission. I am dog. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. No, I opened that. He's coming over here. Lights are falling. Things are getting bumped on all over the place. Gonna destroy this thing. That would be funny though. I would base my calm dog cue. I'll just read it as it's written. I would base my calm dog cue to be more how quickly he can re-engage with me or a toy versus totally shut down and needs more coaxing to wake up. I don't think I follow that. I base my calm dog cue on how to quickly re-engage with me versus a toy. Oh, okay, with the calm thing. Okay, there you go. I know what you're saying. And what a great point that is. So an earlier question is like, hey, how can you tell if a dog is just like on and off switch or just like totally shut down and hates their life? I'm paraphrasing. And then this person here, who I can't read the handle, says, will the dog quickly engage with me if I come over to it or not? That's why I love you guys. You give good answers. And yeah, a dog that's on an off switch, if we walk over to him and go, hey, actually, you want to play tug? On! And they start playing tug, you go, okay, that was a nice thing. But a dog that you go, okay, they were just off, they weren't shut down. But a dog that's kind of like, hey, you want to play tug? Oh. Yeah, probably not an off switch, probably a dog that's shut down. In French Ring, what trait is the hardest to build through training and therefore most important to see naturally in a young dog? One of the best questions I've got. One word, heart. You can't teach heart. You can't train heart. That's the hardest thing you can find in a working dog. It don't matter if it's for sport or for realsies. The hardest characteristic to find is heart. Straight up. You can teach all the technique in the world. In fact, you don't even need the dog to really have that much heart if you're a phenomenal trainer. You can still get them to the high level with a lot of training, but just straight up heart. It's almost impossible to find at the highest level of French Ring, okay? The French Ring final in France, the selectifs in France. If your dog don't have heart, you're going to find out. You're going to find out quick. My dog is big, fast, strong, bites like a Mack truck. Oh, nothing rattles him. That's great. The decoys are pretty good too, though. The decoys are pretty good too. And your dog can have all the technique in the world, and they can be big and strong and fast and not have real heart at the same time. When their technique fails, when they are past the point of complete exhaustion, are they still in the fight? A dog with real heart, training don't matter no more. So that's what you want to see. And it's like, okay, Andy, how do I know if the dog has heart? Well, they probably don't, because most dogs don't. I'm talking about, you said French Ring. I'm talking about the highest level of French Ring in the world. 99% of dogs walking the planet don't have the heart to go up and do that. Okay. Hey, look, they have a lot of great qualities. The dog doesn't have, yeah, okay. I just feel like I got to be nice to everyone. But what the hell was I talking about? Oh, how do you see it? You've trained 1,000,000 dogs for the discipline and taken them to trials and taking them to high levels of trials and watched them fail. And you've gotten the next dog a boatload of experience taking dogs from puppy to ring 3. That's how you're going to learn to look for it. And you know what? Even if you have the best eye in the world, you don't actually find out into the fight. It's just like any other athlete, combat sports competitor. I got heart. I got heart. I got heart. Okay, we know you do. I believe you do. We're definitely going to find out if you do when this fight happens. Interesting, as I have started putting him on a bed behind me in the man cave on a back tie so he can't make eye contact. So stay the course with this? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Stay the course with it, but Yeti, I'm going to offer you something. I don't know if you need to change this, but I'd have it next to me and I want to be manning the leash because it's personal. And my dog goes, "Oh, I can't calm down." And I'm like, knock it off. Like if he's just behind you and he's, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm not going to pay attention." He's like, no, you need to tell that mofo. Look, the French ring stuff got me all excited. No, tell him, dude, knock it off. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you. Shut up. Andy. It's got to be and I know I said, hey, just you, but like, oh, I can't call, he's just behind you on a back tie. As soon as you get up, he's going to be like, I'm next to you. I'm the back tie here. I'm the post, and I'm going, boom. Quiet. Freddie's like, what did I do? Tell his ass. Stop it. I believe that's going to help. I've started putting him on a bed behind me in the man cave on a back tie so we can make eye contact. An interesting thing to do. Is your intention to induce him to want to make more eye contact? Yeah, look, it's either way depending on the dog. There are cases where sometimes you put a bed behind you, tie the dog up, pay the dog no attention, and that particular dog, after a period of time, just totally relaxes and goes, oh, this guy's got nothing to do with me. Okay. And that can work with a stupid Malinois. Okay. And I say that with all the love in the world. Okay. That might frustrate them more. That might make them want to make eye contact more, as this person is saying here. So that's I'm almost on that same page. It's like, okay, if you make eye contact, it's not like this. It's like, dude, relax on the bed. Like, you need to give that to the dog. Remember your presence, your Cesar Millan energy? It's like, dude, knock it off and calm down. You got to give that through the leash, through your sounds, through your presence. If he's just sitting behind you, he ain't getting nothing from you. Might frustrate him. Follow up to the off switch question, because if I make eye contact with him, he wants to go. I mean, I forget how old the dog is, but if you make eye contact with him and like, oh, I want to go, kind of like, I think was it Mary or someone else? It's like, hey, if you wanted eye contact to make the dog do this, mission accomplished. We don't need to do that no more. You know what I don't like though, Yeti? I don't like that if you lock eyes with the dog for a second, he gets all, like, you need to tell him to knock it the hell off. You really do. I said this in my recent Patreon video, but you know how everyone's always raving about how smart Malinois are? Oh, they're so smart. They're so smart. They're so smart. Agreed. Don't you think your dog is smart enough to know when it's working time and when it's not working time? Is the dog so stupid that he just thinks anytime you ever look at me in the eye, I must kill? No, he's not. So get on his butt a little bit, tell him to knock it the hell off, and trust me, your eye contact stuff will always be fine in working mode. On the bed, I can't look at you. Dog, is that what you're telling me, dog? Who's training who? If you look at me, I'm gonna go nuts. Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna rip your head off on the prong. And then are you still gonna go nuts? No. Stop it. What are you doing? You're laying down right now. You're supposed to be smart. Get the difference. Lay there, quiet. I'm allowed to look at you. I'm your boss. That's kind of harsh, isn't it? Yeah. With one of these working dogs, we gotta be a little bit tough sometimes. And if that was my dog, I'd be going, hey, dude, I'm not gonna sit here and go like this. That ain't fair. Dude, it's a Malinois. What do you expect? That ain't fair. But if you go like this, the dog can't stay relaxed because I locked that. Stop it. Try harder, Fluffy. What do you think modern French ring Malinois are gaining and losing through current breeding trends? Are people improving performance or sometimes sacrificing clarity and stability for intensity? How do I answer that? I know what you mean. In the world I live in French ring, which is like the niche of the niche of the niche, these breeders have been around for a long time. They have specific genetics and specific dogs they like, and that's what they do. There's no change in nothing, okay? We're always improving and evolving but they have the kind of dog they like, they have the kind of dog they believe in, and that's what it is, and we're done. Okay, that's like these are the French ring breeders that are not on social media. They're not YouTube stars. They're not on TikTok. You ain't going to see them anywhere. The only way you're ever going to come across them is by going to events in France and learning French. But I know what you mean, whereas like, outside of the niche of the niche of the niche, are people improving performance or sometimes sacrificing clarity and stability for intensity? I couldn't have said it better myself. I don't know if I'd chalk that up to French ring. I would say people breeding Malinois for sport or police, they absolutely sacrifice clarity and stability for intensity. Remember back at the beginning of this, I said, hey, one thing I like about Fred is he's like intense for a toy, but he's not that intense for the toy. Like he can leave it if he needs to. Oh my God, I love that. Dude, he's a Malinois. Like he's intense. We're good. We don't need more. I would much rather have a clear-headed dog, a stable dog that can do the work, but isn't going to blow anyone's hair back. That's the kind of dog I want. Straight. I don't want this dog who's cranked up to 100 and just trying to level everyone. And everything the dog ever does is like, no. In dog sports, police dog different, kind of, but especially in dog sports, it is a sparring match. It is a simulated fight between dog and man. So imagine you have a boxer, you have an MMA fighter that you're training. In their sparring match or in their fight, everything they ever do is full intensity. Not good. Not good. No. There are moments where there needs to be bursts of high intensity, but then you need to go back to a calm, calculated ninja sniper killer. And you pick your spots to explode, and then you reel it back in and get back to calculated. A fighter ain't gonna make it very far. Once they get to a certain level, everything is they're trying to knock the person's head off. Once you get to a certain level, all that stuff ain't gonna work no more. So yeah, and you know the people that are breeding Malinois and they want more intensity, it's not a knock on them. I guess it is. It's all a lack of experience. Trust me, we've all been there. But you're in dogs for, a period of time. You maybe accomplish some things and you think, man, I want the most intense. We got intense dogs over here, man. So you better watch your ass because they are. Okay, man. Very, very cool. What are their scores in level 3? Well, here's the thing, dude. Okay. Right. That's what the high level people, that's what they want. You can tell me about how badass a dog is all day. You can show me sweet reels of the dog. I can see all the video. Your dog can be yard sailing every decoy in sight. Very cool. What are their scores in level 3? Oh, that's a pretty good. What decoys did they go against? You know that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, we've done it. We've been here a while, almost 2 hours. Amazing Q&A. You guys brought the heat. You made old Andy work today. So I appreciate that. Hope you guys got something from it. Even if you just got a little giggle, that's good enough for me. Until next time, though, happy training. Of course, I'll be here next Saturday, same time. If you've made it this far, you really love me. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/Andy Kruger. I've been posting on there weekly for years. So it is essentially just a whole nother YouTube channel that I have. So if you like my videos, if you like this, throw down 25 bucks. I don't think you'll regret it. Thank you guys for being here. We got to get Big Fred out in that heat, get him running around a little bit, got some boarding trains to work, blah, blah, blah. I'm out, y'all. Happy training. Don't take my advice and totally screw up your dog, though. That's bad. Later, y'all.